In the last video, we explained how to set up, carry out, and conclude an investigation. In this video, we want to stress to you the importance of different ways that scientists and non-scientists would use these methods in their own lives.
I was asking my students one year if they understood the importance of student-designed investigations, and I was very surprised by the answer I got from one of my students. She said she understood why it'd be important to be able to know how to do these if you went into science for a living, but for a non-scientist, she wasn't sure that she really saw this as being an important skill.
So let's consider when a non-scientist would want to use these science and engineering practices. Mr. Stith, I know you shared with me that your friend was having some stomach problems and his doctor recommended that he should take some antibiotics.
That's true, but he wanted to avoid antibiotics if he could. So what he did is he started creating a food journal in which he wrote down everything he ate for several days. And he stuck with very bland food and water, and after maybe 4 or 5 days, the problem went away.
So what did he do next? Because surely he didn't want to just eat bland food and drink water the rest of his life.
That's true. So he started adding different foods to his diet, but then the symptoms returned, and of course he didn't know which food to blame.
Since your friend added back in several foods at once, he then couldn't tell which was the problem food. In any scientific experiment, you can only change one variable at a time. That way, you can identify the variable as causing the change.
Yes, by adding one food at a time, he could identify it as safe or causing a problem. There are other kinds of medical-related issues where folks might want to conduct science investigations to try to figure out what might be the cause. And I know of several situations where friends suddenly developed an allergic reaction to something, and they started testing different changes to their diet and other kind of changes. And I remember shaving cream brand and laundry detergents as being causes of these problems. So many situations where you might want to try to figure out what would be a variable and a cause in your own life.
We are not saying do these scientific experiments in place of medical advice. What we're saying is doing a scientific investigation in your own life in addition to seeking medical care can help you identify variables that are causing changes. I can think of another really good real-world example. My friend bought a car, and when she bought the car, the seatbelt kept sticking. So she took it back to the dealership, but then as soon as she took it back, it worked.
That was the way. So let me guess, she started to conduct her own investigation.
She did. My friend began making really careful notes about when the seatbelt did and did not work. And at first, she thought it was related to how long the car had been running. But upon further investigation into that theory, she found it didn't work. Once she was able to figure out that it wasn't related to how long the car had been running, she again kept tracking data. And what she figured out is that the seatbelt didn't work in certain temperatures. Once she had this data, she was able to take it back to the dealership, and this made sense to their service department, and they were able to replace the malfunctioning part, and she was able to have a working seatbelt again.
We hope these examples better help you appreciate how understanding how to conduct fair scientific investigations can be useful for even the non-scientist.
In addition, you now have the ability to think critically, and when you hear somebody make an amazing claim about something, you can look at the methods that they used and see if they have scientifically supported their claim with data.